Finally, let us understand the physics angle of dark. Since the beginning of 20th century quantum mechanics, the physics of extremely small gained traction and has revealed previously concealed aspects of events. Quantum physics works differently in many ways from Newtonian physics. Physicist Aaron D. O'Connell explains that the understanding of universe at such small scales as atoms requires a different logic than day-to-day life does. O'Connell argues that we must simply use different models and constructs when dealing with quantum world. This debate is relevant because it is easy to imagine a specific situation in which the arrival of electron at a screen at a certain point and time would trigger one event, whereas its arrival at another point would trigger an entirely different event. To understand this, let us take the example of Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, sometimes described as a paradox devised by the Austrian physicist Erwin Schrodinger in 1935. The scenario presents a hypothetical cat that may be simultaneously both alive and dead, a state known as quantum superposition, as a result of being linked to a random subatomic event that may or may not occur. Schrodinger's cat experiment was depicted as being explained by Tannhaus in the final season's penultimate episode. The experiment is simple. It involves a cat, a flask of poison, and a radioactive source, all placed in the sealed box. If an internal monitor detects radioactivity, the flask is shattered by a hammer mechanism, releasing the poison, which kills the cat. The quantum superimposition implies that after a while, the cat is simultaneously alive and dead until the box is opened. Yet when one looks in the box, one sees the cat either alive or dead, not both alive and dead. This poses the question, when exactly quantum superposition ends and reality collapses into one possibility or the other. In 1957, Hugh Everett formulated the many-world interpretation of quantum mechanics, which does not single out observations as special processes. In many-world interpretation, both alive and dead state of the cat persist after the box is opened, but are decoherent from each other. In other words, when the box is opened, the observer and the possibly dead cat split into an observer looking at the box with the dead cat and an observer looking at the box with the live cat. But since the dead and alive states are decoherent, there is no effective communication or interaction between them. Tannhaus of the Origin World describes the theory of quantum entanglement during his television show in 1974. He explains the thought experiment by Schrodinger's cat, which is simultaneously dead and alive, and the states of atom can overlap until they are forced into a definitive state by observation. He broadens the idea and asks whether it would be possible for multiple realities to exist side by side. The reference to dark is pretty clear. Quantum entanglement is first used during the apocalypse in Adam's world. In the first version, Martha brings Jonas into Eva's world. This version of Martha is later killed by Adam along with her unborn child, while this version of Jonas impregnates young Martha with the unknown and is later shot by the second version of Martha. In the second version, Eva sends Bartosz to stop Martha and travel back with him. This version of Jonas never goes to Eva's world and thus becomes the stranger and late Adam, while this version of Martha survives and gives birth to the unknown. Eva uses quantum entanglement to save herself and the unknown and thus preserve the loop. Adam fails to end time again and again by killing Martha with the God particle, not accounting for the two pregnant versions of her. However, Claudia of Adam's world uses quantum entanglement to tell him that there is a way to break the cycle. He creates a third version of events by going back to save Jonas from the apocalypse and sending him to Eva's world before she can travel to Adam's world. This allows for their journey to the origin world and the destruction of both Adam's and Eva's world. And that was the video, guys. Thank you for sticking around till the very end. If you liked the video, please don't forget to hit the like button and let us know your theories and views in the comments below.